Um, First of all, our sexuality education program was started in year 2000 in response to specific challenges that are with us today. There are basically three main areas. One is that every year we have about 2,000 teenage pregnancies. And recently we've noticed also that the numbers of sexually transmitted infections, including HIV infections, were on the rise. Two, the numbers of all these teenage pregnancies and numbers of sexually transmitted infections indicate that some youths are sexually active and are having unprotected sex. The third challenge is that our youth are exposed to many avenues where they can get information, including different views, liberal views on sexual activity and sexual lifestyles. So our sexuality education program, the main aim is to help them build healthy relationships, make responsible decisions, as well as teach them the consequences of unprotected sex. So we do teach forms of contraception, but teaching that has to be in the context of the values of society. It cannot be just a fact-based, because sexuality education in itself has to reflect the values of our society. And indeed, the values that we, in our sexuality education program, are what mainstream majority, the mainstream society of Singapore society believes in, which is a married heterosexual family with kids, and this is what we encourage, in line with our other social policies of promoting home ownership in terms of nuclear family and extended families. In most programs, you have to infuse values, because there must be the values underpin your sexuality education program, and the values that we use reflect the values that the mainstream society has, or the mainstream society believes and adheres to social norms that are currently present today. We don't seek to be ahead of society, and we cannot do that. That's not the way to do it in schools. We don't condone premarital sex. We don't encourage sexual experimentation. We certainly don't promote homosexuality. This has not been the framework, and this is not how it's been implemented. Because I think what we teach is what majority of Singaporeans believe, that most parents want their children to, have become parents themselves, get married, have children, and basically that's what our sexuality education program teaches.
So could you tell us actually what was the outcome of the investigations, and what is the way forward for MOE?
Investigation
or rather the inquiries that you all have made with regards to the external programs, the sex education programs?
Well, we've made our replies about external vendors in particular unaware, so I won't be touching on that. But we're using this opportunity also to enhance our program, to ensure that that our sexuality education program is up to date and responsive to the challenges that I've outlined. Two, that we put in a more robust system to ensure that what is taught is consistent with our framework, and that our external vendors or external agencies that we use do adhere to the framework that is existing. And for this, we are strengthening a number of measures. One, for the program itself, we will continue to maintain a core focus on preventing sexually transmitted infections and teenage pregnancies, and on the positive side, to help our youth develop healthy boy-girl relationships and make responsible choices. So that doesn't change, and that will be continued, including teaching forms of contraception. But what we will enhance is, one, we will set up a professional panel. This is a steering committee headed by the Director of General Education to make sure and to review that our program is up to date. When we started this program, our sexuality education program, that's indeed what we did. But we want to institute this steering committee to review it periodically. Now, to ensure that there is that we also get the feedback from views from parents and members of the community, what we will be doing is to ask Compass. Compass is an organization which of parents and community in support of schools, and there are members drawn from parents and community organizations that in this organization to help us go through the materials to give us the feedback. The chairman of Compass is Senior Minister of State Grace Fu. The deputy chairman of Compass is Mr. Masagos Zulkifli. So they will oversee that consultation. Then for vetting the external vendors, we will centralize it at MOE. Previously, we allowed schools, because of the greater reach and networking, to choose their vendors and to ensure that the vendors comply to our framework. We feel that it's more robust and it gives us greater control to centralize this at MOE, where we have a committee within MOE to vet through both the contents of and to establish with the external vendors that they believe in and they will comply with the framework and values that are in our sexuality education program. This committee within MOE will not only vet the external vendors but institute regular periodic checks and audits to make sure that the delivery of it does comply to our framework. In addition to that, what we will be doing is to subject all external vendors afresh and new to this process, so that we have, so that we ensure a certain standard and a certain compliance.
Minister, 17-year-olds can get abortions without parental consent as long as they have two adults signing off for them. Yet in schools, parents will have to be referred to if kids are encountering any sexuality problems. How strict is the Education Ministry with regards to this guideline for teachers, and might it not be sometimes more productive for counsellors and students to work this out internally instead of having to refer it to parents?
Before I answer that, let me just complete one more point in terms of strengthening the framework. The other piece that we're strengthening the framework is to really empower, to give parents more information. As I previously said, what we've been teaching in schools has been put out in the public through VCDs, through CD-ROMs, through printed word. But we will seek to push out more information, including the materials that external vendors use when they deliver their lessons, so that parents have more information. With this information, we also want to streamline the process of opting out. If parents feel uncomfortable with the program, then they can opt out. The answer to your question is that it's very clear from the outset when we started this program that parents are mainly responsible for their children. We do not seek and we cannot replace the parents or become surrogate parents. We cannot overstep that line because parents are responsible for their children. At the same time, our teachers are sensitive enough to know that if they have particular problems that their students bring to them, some problems are so large that they will have to encourage their students to confide in their parents or to help